Guess where I am? I'm actually in Cairo, the capital of Egypt, the largest city of the Arab world. I've done some skating trips here already, go check out these videos. And right now I'm about to embark on a biking trip through the city. This actually does mark the first occasion that I bike on the Africa continent. So very symbolic. The bike from a place called Be a Biker. I just met up with Mahmoud. I'll show you the picture in the video right here. He was cool with that. In fact, he liked being featured on YouTube. So if you're ever in Cairo and wanting to rent a bike, go check out Be a Biker. Yeah, so the plan is to just bike around and we'll start soon. It's a really good weather today actually. Yeah, so you may think that this camera is at a weird angle, but actually for biking it should be much better. I forgot to put it at this angle for many bike trips in the past, for example those in the US, but I think you will see now that it works better this way. Alright, my first biking meters at the African continent. Except for Antarctica, I have now biked in all continents on this planet. Fun fact, as I was preparing myself for the bike trip, I spent a good 10 minutes, you know, shooting some movies, getting everything ready right over here on the left. And there was a guy sitting there looking at me, probably thinking, what the heck is he doing? Alright, so off we go. Maybe a little disclaimer about the Cairo traffic. You will see that the traffic is crazy here. Now I'm used to Amsterdam traffic, which in its own right is kind of hectic, but it is more organized. But I love the less organized nature of the Cairo traffic. That's why I go to cities like this, you know, undergo these technical challenges. I've been here now for 6 days. I've done 3 inline skating trips in Giza, which was also a crazy experience, really cool. My Amsterdam experience plus the fact that I by now know the traffic rules will make sure that everything will be cool. For example, honking the horns in Amsterdam, that actually means something if you honk a horn. Here it's just a cool habit. Of course there is some meaning to it, but it happens all the time and it loses its meaning. So I gotta say, well, inline skating in downtown Cairo, along the river Nile, and also in Giza, I drew a lot of attention. You do see some inline skaters in the downtown area, but in Giza I was all by myself. Apparently also, I think the only tourist in 2 hours. I have seen a few cyclists here and there, but I wouldn't say it's fair to say that there are a lot of cyclists in Cairo. For now I'm just, you know, going in a random direction and see where that will lead me. Just explore life in Cairo. Alright, there is a fellow cyclist. Right on, buddy. Right on. I was here yesterday by inline skates. Check out that movie. It's the one where I go from Tahrir Square to Ramses Station. So yeah, it looks familiar to me. And I also know this is a crazy place. You gotta do what you gotta do, huh? Okay. So in that skate video, you will see me cross this pedestrian bridge right here. This one. Central station is to the left. in that same movie I reflect on how I've grown accustomed to Cairo traffic already. I feel quite comfortable in it. But it takes a little bit of time. I've been in Mumbai, check out that bike video. I would say that was even more chaotic, because the feeling was amplified by the fact that Mumbai was very humid, a bit overwhelming at times. Whereas here the weather is nice. I'm quite comfortable here. So Cairo is called the city of 1,000 minarets. I don't know if you heard that, the city of 1,000 minarets. Biggest city in the Arab world, as I already mentioned. So there are many mosques and minarets here, but also church. As you can see over here, there is also a Christian population in Cairo, the Coptic Christians, for example. In fact, yesterday, after my inline skate trip, I went to an area called Coptic Cairo, where there are lots of churches and even a synagogue. So we have several religions coexisting here. Well, I'm on the main road, parallel to the railroad tracks over here to the left. I looked at the map. I'm gonna follow this road for a while. Then I'll make my way north at some point. Yeah, I learned a few valuable lessons from my inline skating trips over here. And that one of them is, for example, that the simple fact of turning left somewhere is a major undertaking in its own right. I'll keep that in mind as soon as you see me take a left turn. That would be easy, you think, but it isn't. Right in front of me is a minivan or a microbus. It's a vital component of the Cairo transportation infrastructure. I talk about it in my inline skate movies as well. It's very interesting to observe. There are thousands and thousands of those in the city. Oh, this is also cool. That looks like a school of some sort. Yes. Let's pass by it. It's called the Al-Qalyubia Governmental Language School. There are a lot of students outside. It's cool. Alright. Let's continue. Looks like I'll be able to make a left here, so let's try that. Alright. We made it. Alright, another cyclist. Right on, buddy. Anyways, I've made my way out of the downtown area. And that brings me to the part that I love most about my undertakings, and that is experience life outside the city centers of cities all over the world. You know, you can visit the downtown sites by foot, which I did already, also in Cairo. But what I love most is to experience life outside the city center, authentic life. How do everyday people, ordinary people like me, go about their daily business? Where do they live? And I obviously made it into a residential area right now. And I've learned over the years, I've been doing this for 25 years now, biking in cities abroad. The bike is the best way to do that, to achieve that effect. Now, starting 3 years ago, I've added inline skating to my repertoire. Also a great way to see the cities as outside of the city center, but it's a little bit less flexible than biking. So usually, the last 2 years at least, I use a combination. But to be fair and square, I think the bike is the best way to explore a city outside of the city center. I mean, where I am right now, I really don't expect to be any tourist. at all. And yeah, none seen so far. Check out this street. Gotta love it. Shops, cars, and interestingly, a church on the right again. You can see it right there, church. We just saw a church, and literally like 100 meters down the road there, that seems to be like a mosque. Wanted to make sure you also saw that mosque over there, and the church in one shop. The mosque and the church in one shop on the same road. That's Cairo for you. So the cars drive a little slower here. This road is pretty dusty, and it's obvious why. Hey man, tell us outside. Having a conversation with this guy, pretty cool. There was this kid biking, you know, on the same road as I was biking on, and he struck up a conversation with me. He just came back from school. He did warn me that biking here is dangerous. He wanted to race, just in a fun way. He said, no, I'm not gonna do that. Not here. But it was fun. I think he enjoyed it too. Two cyclists hanging around on the streets of Cairo. Sometimes you also have to improvise a little bit. Like right now. But that's okay. Whatever brings you forward. This is not how we're supposed to do it. But again, sometimes one's got to improvise. Crossing the street is not always easy in Cairo. And one has to be inventive. Otherwise, one gets nowhere. Alright. Here we are. Here's another thing. Hope you can see it. So this is the bus stop, and that is a symbol that all the bus stops have here. You can see a mosque and the minarets. You see that river over there? That river will eventually lead me to the Nile. The Nile has been featured in my inline skating videos already. Longest river of the world. I'm also planning to visit it today. River. So 5 times a day, I believe 5 times a day, there are calls for prayers from the minarets. It's a cool bridge. Thank you. They're probably thinking, what the heck, bye. All sorts of things you can buy. Yeah, so this is one side of the river. And here's another side. way to get to the other side. Alright, made it across. Passing the mosque again. Making my way to the Nile.
When I bike abroad, I would like a mountain bike, all-terrain bike or hybrid. Certainly no e-bike, and also the usual, city bikes will not cut it. So usually I reserve my bike from some kind of rental shop way in advance. Here you see a list of emails from the weeks before I would go to Egypt. Try to find a suitable bike for rent. Could not find one. This was at times rather frustrating. This has been the most difficult bike rental endeavor ever. And before I actually left to Egypt, I had not yet secured a bike. Indeed, the bike trip of the video that you're watching took place the last day of my stay in Egypt, because I still had to arrange all sorts of stuff. And what I learned is that email was not the right way of communicating. Everything could be done by phone once in Egypt.